Hey guys, little update. Know it's been a while, about 2 months since I gave you guys an update. Just kind of hectic couple months. Uh, Either when I would come to update you guys, so I like to try and do an update right before I get a haircut, and then do it right after I get a haircut. I've been getting my haircut about every 2 weeks, and just on the times that I get ready to do it, one, my iPhone died, and then I was having technical difficulty with my selfie stick, but whatever the case, here we are. So I'll do a little recap as I've done in the other videos. Um, so, had my hair transplant done at Ashley Tarjan. Initial hair transplant was December of 2019, 7,000 grafts. I am starting from a Norwood 6'7". I mean, basically completely bald. Everything up top, crown, and the, what do you call them? The temples were both bald. So all that is transplanted hair. So yeah, first transplant December 2019, 7,000 grafts, mostly just the front, this that you see here. So we're about, December, about 15 months from that transplant. Second transplant that covered the crown and added some density to the initial transplant was 4,500 grafts. That was done in July of 2020. So we're right at about 8 months after that. So about 1,300 of those grafts were taken from my beard. As you can see, my beard has filled out pretty well since that. The rest were taken from the back of my head. So about over 10,000 grafts taken from the back of my head. And that kind of leads into one subject that I wanted to start off and talk about in this video. It's a subject that a couple other guys in the community have discussed. Zay and from Zay's Hair Journey and Jay have both discussed this. And I've discussed it in the past, but I'd just like to recap this. So in regards to donor area, over harvesting, and expectations, right? So as I've said before, I was a Norwood 6 or 7. I also have a large head. So the expectation of being able to cover the top of my head without, seriously affecting the appearance of my donor area, I just don't think is realistic. There's no way, like I said, it's 11,500 grafts in total that are on my head, 10 of which came from the back. So I just don't think there's any way that could be done without affecting the donor area. One other thing I did want to talk about, I've kind of shied away from, critiques of the clinic or anything like that. And I mean, don't take this as that either. But my whole purpose in doing videos is not to tell anybody if they should or shouldn't get a hair transplant or where they should or shouldn't go. It's simply to give them the information that I've gotten through my experience, share it with other guys, and from that, they can make their decision. So that being said, so as I said, I started from a Norwood 6 or 7. I've gotten good coverage from that. I'm gonna show you guys a little closer later. The crown is still struggling to come along, but here is my one and biggest critique. And I mentioned this under somebody else's video. I don't know if it's a language thing. I don't know if it's an attention to detail thing. I was given this time to make sure that this was what was going on before I said anything. But Ashley Tarjan missed two spots on my head. And this is over the course of 2 transplants and 11,500 grafts placed. I mentioned to you guys before, and I'll see if you can see, I'm gonna post a video, or a picture rather, and circle the area. So this was where I pointed out before, the area that was missed. I'm gonna turn around my crown here and get it as good as I can. Let's see how we can do this. Again, so it's a little hard to see on this. I'm going to also include a picture, but right there is the area that is completely slick. No hair there. So whereas I realize that it's not going to be perfect, I do think that having 2 missed spots is a bit much when you've had 2 transplants and with 11,500 grafts. Now that being said, I think there are things that they generally get incredibly well. I think, you know, my hairline was done well. I think most of the, if not all of the hairlines I've seen come from there are done well. But just, I think it can be a little hit or miss. I mean, I've seen great jobs come from there and not so great jobs. So, you know, there's still time to grow. I mean, that of course, doesn't affect the missing spots. But yeah, I'm going to say at this point, I would say they are hit or miss. There are things they're really good at, and there are things they're not so good at. I would say one of those things they're not so good at is attention to detail. Next thing I want to talk about is my donor area. So as you guys can probably see when I turned around there, my donor area is pretty bald. I'm going to try and show it as good as I can. Now this is after about 2 weeks of growing out. So it looks worse at that time. After a haircut, it looks pretty good, but I will say it looks pretty good for about 5 days. That being the case, I've made the decision that I am going to get SMP back there. That'll probably be towards the end of the year. Just looking at some different places, pricing, things like that. So I'll keep you guys in the loop on that. And I'll update or put another part on this video when I get back from the barbershop. About to go get my hair cut now. All right, guys. So I'm actually waiting on my barber to get here, and thought of a couple things I left out of the last video. Just update you guys while I'm here waiting. So I've said in previous videos, you guys can see I have a do-rag on. With transplanted hair, I've noticed it tends to grow up and not forward. Over these past few months of you know, wearing my do-rag, I usually sleep in it. I have noticed it's gotten better, that my hair does lay down a little easier and stay laying down a little easier. Hopefully it'll continue to get trained in that way. But especially, I always wash my hair right before I come to the barbershop. After that, it does stick up. So just so I can get it cut as accurately as possible, especially having the line as accurately as possible, I try and have the hair laid down. So, you know, when he lines it up, it's, you know, it's right. But the part that I left out that I wanted to talk more about was donor areas, just because that's a frequently talked about topic as it pertains to Ashley Tarjan specifically, but I would say Turkey in general, this idea of over harvesting. And I'll tell you my take on it, just my opinion. So as I said earlier, part of it I think is expectations and realistic expectations, but I think the difference is a lot of the Turkish clinics are going to cover your head no matter what. Meaning, if you come in with a strong donor area and they could take, you know, 5,000, 6,000 grafts and, you know, leave it not looking too bad back there, that's what they're going to do. If you come in with a bare bones, thin donor area, they're still going to take that 5,000 or 6,000 to cover your head, but you're just going to be left with a more chopped donor than the guy who came in with a strong donor area. So more so than, so I know another common thing has been said a lot, and I've seen this to be the case with some guys whose videos I've watched. This kind of lends to me saying it's hit or miss, that one side will be more harvested than the other side. From what I look at on my head, I don't see anything like that. But like I said, I have definitely seen that in other guys' videos. So just my take on it. Update later after the haircut. All right, guys. So back from my haircut. Same cut that I've been getting. You know, having bald fade the sides and show you up close to top here. All right, and then as I was saying earlier, the crown. Let's see if I can show you good. The crown is still kind of coming along. We're at 8 months. You know, we all understand the crown is slower to grow. It's coming along. You can see, you know, how it's showing before how, you know, patchy the donor is, you know, so I bald faded. And as I was saying in the earlier video, have made the decision. I'm going to get S&P in the back, just in the process of researching now. That'll probably be later in the year. So yeah, any questions, anything that you guys have, of course, open to answer. So you can just leave any comments, questions, you know, down below. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right.